Thank you, Councillor Mosquito. Cllr Robert Alden.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. And may I say how nice it is to see Her Majesty in her rightful place on the wall. Hear, hear! I'd like to start by adding my support to the words Councillor Tilsley mentioned, in particularly taking onto account those extra little measures which were mentioned, and certainly from our area, Shell Force is obviously a great concern to people involved with the company, and anything we can do to help support them is much appreciated. I, like Councillor Jones, am a young councillor, not quite as young. I was able to vote in 2004, and I voted to kick out the Labour administration. And perhaps it might be wise that I just remind one of the younger councillors in the chamber as to why so many people in Birmingham voted to kick out the Labour administration. It was because they closed swimming pools across this city. It was because they threatened to close libraries. It was because they closed public toilets. It was because they tried twice, not once, twice, to sell off the council housing in this city against the council tenants' wishes, wasting tens of millions. Those same council houses, which are now worth billions of pounds to the city's accountants, by the way. Not sure how you're going to balance that problem in your budget if you're ever in charge again. And let us not forget that 6 months into a financial year, they have to stop repairing the roads because they'd spent all the money. They couldn't even keep a small budget in place to repair the emergency potholes in this city. That is what a Labour administration delivered for Birmingham. I think we've seen a very interesting budget here. They've done about £6 million worth of changes, and then they've said, actually, we agree with everything else you do. They say to residents on the doorstep that they might be against anything happening with the Martineau Centre or the Portland Centre. But then they support a budget that is exactly the same proposals they're saying they're against. There's many examples across the city I could pull out, but I'll just leave it those two, and perhaps councillors should just think about that. Your budget actually proposed exactly what you're saying to residents you shouldn't do. A hypocrisy if ever I've heard one. And we have Councillor Bohr, who put forward a very elegant speech. It was noted by the Chamberlain file that actually it was heard in the same deaf silence that was heard everywhere else. The same deaf silence with which Councillor Bohr heard Councillor Tilsley offer an olive branch earlier. But we have a man who wants to be mayor for this city and who couldn't wait to slag off this city. Yeah. He told us how everyone in Europe is better than this city. Yeah. Well, I have a message for Councillor Bohr. I'm a Brummie and I'm proud of my city. Yeah. And I won't be told by no Labour politician that we shouldn't be proud of Birmingham. Yeah. Councillor Kane said it's a scorched earth policy. Well, I tell you, it's not scorched earth to keep libraries open when Labour Manchester are shutting them, to keep children's centres open when Labour Stoke are shutting them, to build new leisure centres when the last time Labour ran it, they closed them. With frozen tax, Labour councils up and down this country are putting up tax. And we heard them attack Councillor Mullaney earlier for claiming that Councillor Bohr wanted to put up tax. Well, Twitter's a very good thing, because Twitter catches what you said. And here's what's on Twitter about Councillor Bohr's plan to tax. John O'Shea, ACOC's Green candidate under political hack, he said, council tax too low, Councillor Bohr just says. We have politics in Brum. Low council tax is one of the issues in Birmingham, Councillor Bohr says. Chamberlain files. Albert Bohr has dug up a bit of a hole for himself by suggesting Brum council tax should be higher than it is. Not a vote winner. People on Twitter heard what Councillor Bohr said. The voters in Birmingham heard what Councillor Bohr said. And finally, he wants to be mayor. The Yes for Mayor for Birmingham campaign heard what he says. Because Lord Mayor, they say, so Councillor Bohr, would you raise council taxes if Labour take control in May? Yes or no, Councillor Bohr? Thank you, Lord Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Alden. We have... Thank you. We have time for one more speaker, Councillor